Hi, I am Ross and this is 24 Hours in Theaters.
Are you ready to pass the NMC OSCE the first time as efficiently as possible? Then you're in the right place. Here at IELTS Medical, we've seen adult nurses through to a first-time OSCE pass ending last year with 98% first-time pass rate and 100% second. We've also assisted mental health nurses, children's nurses and midwives through their OSCE exams too. Accessible OSCE practice rooms and expert-led courses. Our nurses are not only passing their exams, but they're having fun doing it too. Inquire today about how we can assist you too.
We come in at work and then we basically check what theater we will be in at first thing in the morning. And then after knowing where we will be, we will then check the skill mixes and what cases we will be having. So after checking that all equipments are properly working, we then attend the 8:05 meeting together with team leaders, briefing about anything particular that we might encounter during the day. A team briefing will be done together with the anesthetists and the surgeons and together with the scrub team and the anesthetic team. So afterwards, the list will continue. As a team leader, one of our tasks is to make sure that there is a fair share of tasks that are allocated within the team. So let's say, for example, for scrubbing, we tend to allocate alternating scrubbing in terms of procedures. Let's say, for example, a scrub for first case, then there would be another one scrubbing for the next one, so that each one would have enough breaks to actually breathe and have enough rest before they scrub in again. And sometimes if there are juniors in the team that needs to that they have some learning objectives that they need to achieve, then that kind of allocating who scrubs for what is changed. So we have to put into consideration their learning objectives. Coffee breaks will be starting, and then while that is commencing, what I tend to do is that, because at around 10 a.m. we should have settled already in theater. So what I tend to do is that I then check if there's anything that is overdue or that needs to be done on my to-do list. Let's say, for example, any staff that needs to be appraised or anything that needs to be ordered. I do. Lunch breaks will be starting. So lunch breaks. So most of the time we do stagger lunch breaks, and when we say staggering lunch breaks, it would mean taking turns. So but when we make decisions on staggering lunch breaks, we have to put into consideration the skill mix that will be left inside in the specific theater, so that it would still be safe and manageable in that sense. We'll be starting to prepare for the list for tomorrow. Having said that, so preparing for the list for tomorrow would entail ordering the kits and checking the skill mix again for tomorrow morning, because sometimes roughly around 3 or 4 p.m. they would already know if there would be someone who's off sick, or if there would be anyone that would needs that if there's anything that needs to be changed in the allocation. So some of our inputs might be asked so that we could actually make any changes. And with regards to the list itself, because sometimes some kits might not be available, and then so we have to reorder the list before starting the list for tomorrow. So what we tend to do is sometimes we ask the waiting list to actually ring in the patients if they could come in a bit later, or vice versa, if they could come in later in the afternoon, so that they don't have to wait the whole morning, so that they will be done. So things like that we tend to do. And hopefully at around 5:30 or 6, we should already be starting to close surgically, so that at 6:15 or 5:30 our patients will be out of theaters, and then and within that half an hour we should be able to actually wrap up the theater itself so that it will be nice and tidy and ready to be used for the next morning. So night shifts, we tend to cover basically obstetrics, trauma, and emergencies. So our shift starts roughly around 7:30 and finishes at 8 in the morning. Priorities has to be done in terms of life and limb, especially roughly around 10 p.m. onwards, making sure that we only, because when you do night shifts, there's only one team working. So if there would be a crash case that needs to be brought into theaters, then it is impossible to split your team into two. That's why you have to prioritize only the ones that are really, really urgent and needs to be done overnight. Hospitals would have separate dedicated teams doing emergency maternity cases. This would include emergency siren sections. Maybe it can be a Cat 1 or Cat 2. And that is 24 hours in theaters. Always remember, Manong knows.
Manong knows best, put your worries to rest when staying in the United Kingdom. Manong knows best.